Hi, it's Ben Lai from Sales Ethos. Today's topic for professional salespeople is do no harm. Do no harm is actually a term that comes from the medical profession. It's what they ask medical students to promise before they even start studying the whole area of medicine. You see, when the doctors and other medical professionals study medicine, they're actually given a lot of power and responsibility. And so they have to make this promise that they're going to do no harm, that they're going to only try to help people because of the amount of responsibility and power that they now possess. In the same way, sales professionals have an enormous amount of power. Where we get our power from is our ability to influence others. And so that comes with a huge responsibility. You know, you could certainly influence people to buy your product, but if they don't need it and they've wasted their money with you and they've made a loss, that's a huge problem that you're causing other people. So do no harm is a very important concept for us to practice if we want to be ethical. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to make sure that you are not doing harm to your clients. The first area is to give advice very carefully. You know, in our consultative sales process, we can give all sorts of tips and advice. One of the things that we are tempted to do is to sound confident in everything that we say. So from that perspective, sometimes we'll give shaky advice that's not based on any evidence or any real experience, but we make it sound as though we are very sure that it's going to get a certain result. And so this would be doing a disservice to our clients, especially if they suffer the consequences of following that advice. So from that perspective, give advice very carefully. If you're not sure about anything, just say it up front. Say you're not sure. Let them know that you're giving this advice, but you're not going to guarantee the results. From that perspective, they're still able to take the risks themselves if they want to, but at least you've done your job in terms of explaining the limitations and explaining the risks. The second thing that we can do to make sure we are doing no harm is to make sure that we are not manipulating people. And the difference between manipulation and persuasion deserves a whole video on its own. But I think the primary difference between manipulation and persuasion is when we're trying to, in a way, change the person's decisions against their will. There are unfortunately some people who are willing to use certain sales techniques to push a person into buying. And this is mostly preying on the people who are not very strong with their mental resolve, and they feel sheepish, they don't want to say no, and the salesperson takes advantage of this. That is manipulation. On the other hand, persuasion is our ability to provide all of the most important information. We spell out the consequences for decision A, decision B, and decision C, and then we allow the person to make the decision on their own. So that's the basic difference between manipulation and persuasion. And we have to make sure that if we want to do no harm, that we are persuading, not manipulating. So avoid using those techniques. There's some NLP practices and techniques that will try to influence a person's subconscious so that they'll actually want to buy. I'm not a big fan of those sort of things. I don't think it's very ethical. But you be the judge and make sure that you practice only the things that sits well with your ethics. The final thing that we can do to make sure we're not doing any harm is not to sell things to people that they don't need. If we find out in the consultative process that your product is not a good fit for the client, then just don't sell it. think of it this way. We want to have win-win or no deal. It cannot be win-lose, and it cannot be lose-win. And you know, so sayings like that guy could sell ice to Eskimos is ridiculous, you know, unless the Eskimo had some specific purpose for that ice that was purer than the one that they already have. You know, it's a ridiculous saying on its own. So make sure that you sell only the things that people actually need and will derive value from it. So do no harm, give advice very carefully, don't manipulate, but instead persuade. And finally, don't sell things that people don't need. Be willing to walk away. If you are a sales manager or entrepreneur and you're looking for ways to boost your sales, feel free to contact me on the details below for a complimentary consultation. My promise to you is that I will tell you if I'm not able to help. My personal philosophy is to do no harm. I am personally willing to walk away from business if there is no value in it for my clients. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember that integrity plus skills equals success.